All right, let's bang out the last two sections, the overlapping images and the footer section in this video. So let's go back to Atom, and we're in our index, right? And of course we need, right, a section. No, we don't need that for the overlapping images. Sorry, dumb me. In the instructions it says to accomplish this you need another div to set the context in and give it a class of context. So I don't actually need another section. I can just be lazy and put it in this features section. Actually though, because I wrote those images, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Because if you saw in the feature section I have those images, so that would be bad, that CSS for those. So I'm gonna say section, God, I can't type. And I'll give it a div. Now this one I don't need the container because we're gonna set a width and it'll be smaller than the container, so we don't need that. I'm just gonna give this one a class of equals context because that's what it tells me to do in number 60 here. Add a width of 600 and a height of 600 to the context div and center it. Okay, that's easy enough. Let's go over to main. Let's go down the bottom here and let's say dot context. Let's set a width of 600 pixels, height of 600 pixels, and let's center it with a little bit of our margin. Now I want some space between it and the thing, so I'm actually going to give it 40 pixels top and bottom and auto left and right to center it. And just so you can see what's happening, I'll put a background color again. So I'll just say number EF. There we go. Take a look at that. And there it is. There's our section that we have. So I'm going to get the images already down to 400 pixels. I have that, and I'm going to put them into the context div and make them 400 pixels each, right? So I'm going to say dot context image with 400 pixels, height 400 pixels. And I need to put the images in themselves, so I gotta go back to my index and I'll say image source equals images owl.jpg alt equals owl, and I'll do the second one, make it owl2. There it is. Let's take a look at it. So there they are. They're growing. Now I need to do a little fancy footwork, right? Because I want some overlap. So it says make it so it's 2 image overlap. Hint, there's 200 overlap top and left. That's super simple, right? So I've got this one. Now I'm going to call this one, I'm going to give it an ID, and I'm going to call this one, that's the barn owl. So I'm going to say barn. I'll say barn-owl. Why not? Barn owl. I'm going to go mosey back to my CSS, and I'm going to say, hey, barn owl, you're going to be a position of absolute. You're going to be top 200 pixels and left 200 pixels. And where'd it go? Oh no, I never set a context, a positioning context. So what do I need to do? That context needs to have a position of relative. And there it is. My owl is placed exactly as I want it. Now, of course, we want it to work responsively, and it's not working responsively, right? So we need it to change the content div to 300 by 300 and the owls to 200 by 200, and that's for landscape phones and smaller. So there's really two ways I could do this. I could move all this into a media query that's above, but since we're going to do it for landscape and smaller, I'll use at max width instead. So I'll say at media max width, and smaller landscape phones are what, like 568, 567. I'm sure there's maybe something based on Bootstrap that I meant there. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this number, and you get what I mean. And so I'm going to actually then make it so that context is only 300 pix by 300 pixels. And I'm going to make my images, right? So my images have to be dot context im and that needs a width of 200 pixels, a height of 200 pixels. Now, the owl is going to need to be moved. Let's go ahead and make this smaller to see what's happening. So there it's smaller, but the owl's not in the right spot because we halved everything. So we're going to say, hey, barn owl, and we'll give it a top of 100 pixels and a left of 100 pixels. And there it is. It's in there. So now the only thing I need to do to make it wonderful is just to take out that background color. And there we are. It looks exactly as it should. Now here's one thing that before I move on I want to address because I just noticed it. So notice that these things are coming over my header, my nav bar here. And we don't want that when that's there. So I want to actually fix that. So I'm going to go up to my header thing, and I'm going to fix that with a z-index of, I'll just put 99. I could technically probably put 1 because everything I never set a z-index, so everything has a z-index of 0 as soon as I put a position of it, and I had put some relative positioning on things, and Bootstrap puts position relative on the row, I think. So I fixed that by doing that. So last thing is just our simple little footer, right? So that should be a footer. And right, I'll still use a container. And then I need some footer information. What do I need? Copyright symbol, the name of your fake company, and year. Don't forget about HTML entities. So I'll say, I'm just going to make it a p tag and say, and copy Ripka Enterprises LLC, and I will give it a year, 2020. All right, there it is. Oops, I should probably close my p tag. And so there it is down there. I should style it. So I'm going to go to main, and I'm just going to say footer, background color, orange. There it is. Uh-oh, I don't like that it's got that space there. So what can I do to fix that space? Let's look at where that space is coming from. And I bet it's coming from an overflow problem. So we've got this overflow problem here. I think I said something in the last one about putting the body to overflow. Did I ever do that? No. So I think what I'm going to do is overflow. Oops. I'm going to test it here first to make sure it works and it's doing what I want it to do. And it should be. And it's not. So let's see, body overflow auto. So that didn't work. So let's look at what's going on here. What is possibly happening that's making my footer go bigger? And I'm going to say that, is there any kind of, there it is, there's margin on this p tag. So what do I want to do with that p tag? And this is probably coming from Bootstrap, and that's why I don't know it's there. I'll say footer p margin 0. There we go. It's gone. Now I should have space. Talking about design, we should have space there. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just add some padding, and I'll make it, I don't know, 20 pixels and none left and right because I don't need it. And there it is. And that is it. That is the entirety of coding this. You know, getting it to this point would be great. Maybe put some padding on there. Let's make sure when it looks small, it looks good. That's great. We could add this. Maybe I'll make a quick video and show you how to make that work. But maybe not. I'll see.